Welcome back. So we'll go to the next topic, polynomials. Now under polynomials, we're going to be treating factor theorem and remainder theorem. Now if you know your quadratic equations very well, then you won't have a problem with polynomials. So we're going to be treating some algebra that has to do with powers more than 2. Your quadratic equation has the highest power of the variable in the quadratic equation is 2, but for polynomials we're going to be treating as much as 3, 4 and so on. But just rest assured that everything you're doing in JAMB is elementary. If you check the JAMB syllabus, the content shows you that everything is elementary, so don't be afraid. Now let's deal with polynomials. I'll go straight to questions because of time, so I'll explain with questions. So I want you to pay a rapt attention to what we're doing today. Okay, so this is a question taken from 2013, and that's question number 12. Question number 12 says, if x minus 4 is a factor of that thing there, x squared minus x minus k, then k is what? Okay, now what does it mean for something to be a factor of another thing? It means it can go or it can divide the other thing without a remainder. Let me give you an example. 2 is a factor of 6 because 6 divided by 2 gives you 3 without a remainder. So if any number or anything can divide another thing without a remainder, that is called a factor of the other thing. So this is 2, this is a very good example. 2 is a factor of 6 because 6 divided by 2 is just 3 without a remainder. Now, so if we say that there is no remainder and we decide to put a number to what I said now, no remainder implies that the remainder is 0. That's what it means by no remainder. Now let me teach you how to solve a question like this, because you come across questions like this. I had to pick a few of them so that I can explain them. You'll understand as we go along. Now if x minus 4 is a factor of this, then k is what? Now learn how this question is solved. Now x squared minus x minus k is the polynomial. X minus 4 is the factor. So what it means is x minus 4 is supposed to divide this without a remainder. Now how do you solve that? Very simple. Pick that divisor. Now that is called a divisor. If I did 6 over 2, this is the number, this is the divisor. In this case, this is the polynomial, while this is called x minus 4 rather, is called the divisor. Now what you get when a polynomial is divided by a divisor is what we call a quotient. Now in this case, 6 divided by 2 is 3. If this was a polynomial problem, 3 would be called the quotient. Now let me give you something that has a remainder. If I say 5 over 2, 5 divided by 2 is 2, remainder 1. So this in polynomial is the polynomial, this is the divisor, this is the quotient, and this is the remainder. So let's look at this. How do you solve a question like this? Very simple. Now you put a 0 here, equate the divisor to 0. To get a factor, get a value of x. Now if you did this, x would be 4. What is the next thing to do? Very simple. I am going to replace x with 4 in the polynomial. It is expected that since this is a factor, if I put 4 in this polynomial, the answer would be 0, since there is no remainder. This is called the factor. So how do we do that? Remember, x equals 4. So x squared minus x minus k should give me 0 if I put 4 into this equation. So this is what it means. 4 squared minus 4. I have replaced my x with 4, like I said, minus k equals 0. What is 4 squared? 4 times 4, which is 16. 16 minus 4 minus k equals 0. I can take k to the other side. 16 minus 4 is 12. And so 12 equals to k. And if 12 equals k, it means k equals to 12. That is it. So that's the answer. K is 12. So the correct answer there is option C, as you can see there. The next one, quickly, because of time. Now, the first one we did was factor theorem. You remember I said we're treating two things under polynomials. Factor theorem and remainder theorem. Now, this is remainder theorem. Apologies. Let me go back. Now, the remainder, when 6p cubed, I'm sure you're done with this. I told you at any point you can press pause, watch everything or see everything or write down or copy everything down into your book, and you can press play when you are okay. So, very quickly, because of time, the next question says the remainder when this is divided by this is what? Now, that is a polynomial. The highest power of the polynomial there is 3. So we have 6p cubed minus p squared minus 47p plus 30p minus 3. This is the polynomial. Now, the divisor in this case is what? P minus 3. Now, it says that there is a remainder. So we want to find the remainder. The question expects us to find the remainder. So how do we find the remainder? Remember what I said? Equate these to 0. That would give you p equals to 3. So you substitute p, 3 into p in the polynomial. It is expected to give you the remainder. So we don't know what the remainder is. We are supposed to find the remainder. So let's do that. This is 6, 3 cubed minus 3 squared minus 47 times 3 plus 30 times 3 minus 3. So let's play. So 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. So 6 times 27 minus 3 squared is 9. Now 3 times 47, 3 times 7 is 21, 3 times 4 is 12. So that would give you minus 141. 30 times 3 is 90, minus 3. Can you see what we have? So 6 times 27, 6 times 7 is 42, 6 times 2 is 12. Now, please take note. Mental mathematics is very, very important here. The fact that you have just a short time, you have 3 hours, 30 minutes for all 4 of your subjects. So you need to task your brain if you're taking mathematics. Honestly, you need that. So look at this. 6 times 27. If you have a problem with that, you can just do this. Okay, but 6 times 12 times 2 rather is 12. 6 times 7 is 42. So look at that. 142 is what 6 times 27 would give you. 142. Sorry, apologies. 162 rather. Then minus 9 minus 141 plus 90 minus 3. So let's collect like terms. 162 plus 90. Let's have all those ones together. We have minus 9 minus 141 minus 3. So this would give you 252 minus this 153. So 252 minus 153. Now you can do the mathematics. That would give you, look at this. This is 9 and then this is 9. 252 minus 153 is 99. So this would give me 99. So the correct answer there is option D. Option D. Now let's go to the next question. It says find the value of k if y minus 1 is a factor of that. Remember what I said. If this is a factor of the polynomial, the answer would be 0. If it's a factor, the remainder, there'll be no remainder. There'll be no remainder. So if there's no remainder, if we put 1 into that, how do I mean by putting 1 into that? Y minus 1 equals to 0, y would be equals to 1. So if I put 1 into this polynomial, it would give me 0. Why? Because the question says that y minus 1 is a factor of that polynomial. Now let's quickly do that one. It won't take us time. We can do that in 1 minute. Since you have an understanding of factor theorem now. So we have y cubed plus 4y squared plus ky minus 6. So remember, this is the polynomial. The divisor is y minus 1. So if this equals 0, y would be 1. So we substitute 1 for y in this polynomial. Then we are expected to get 0 if we do that. So 1 raised to power 3 plus 4, 1 raised to power 2 plus k, 1 minus 6 should give us 0. 1 cubed is 1. 1 squared is 1 times 4 is 4. K times 1 is k. Minus 6 equals 0. So 1 plus 4 is 5. And 5 minus 6 is minus 1. So on this side I have k minus 1 equals 0. So k is 1. Can you see that? So the correct option, the correct answer rather, is option D. K equals 1. K equals 1. So I won't solve this question because it's still about remainder theorem, so that we can go to some tougher questions. Can you see this one? 2016 number 42 is factor theorem. I have solved a question like that. Then the other one, 2019 number 12. So all these questions, I put these questions, you can press pause at any point and then try solving these questions to see what you will get, Okay, so let's go. The next topic is binary operations. Now, binary operation is not number-based, because when many of you see binary, what comes to your head would be probably number-based, binary numbers. No. Now, how do you tackle binary operations? Like I said, for want of time, I can't teach you everything under any topic that I've selected, but I'm just going to deal with those problems that they would pose in your JAMB exams. Now, if you have an idea of substitution, remember we just did polynomials and we did substitution. If you know how to do substitution, then binary operations will be very, very easy for you. Now look at this. An operation star, when you see star there, what it means, it could be anything. Sometimes you can see something like this. They could use any symbol. Okay? Now these are called operators. Addition is an operator, subtraction is an operator, multiplication is an operator, and then division. Now operators are simply, binary operation is just rules. So what rule governs, the association of two different letters? Now look at this, for instance. 2 times 3 means I have to multiply 2 by 3. Or if you like to say 2 plus 2 plus 2. 2 times 3. 2 times 3. Or if you want to say 3 plus 3. 3 how many times? 2 times. 2 how many times? 3 times. This would give you 6. This would give you 6. This would give you 6. So that is just the law. So it says if you have something like this is an operator in this case. So we have different operators. Addition is an operator, subtraction is an operator, multiplication, division. So you can see this. So a binary operation star is defined by that which you have on the board. 2014 number 21. It says x operator y, if you like to say x star y, equals to x raised to power of y. Now, if x star 2 is 12 minus x, find the possible values of x. Now, this is very simple. How do we do that? Remember, go back to the law. This is the law. X star y is x raised to power y. What do you think about x star 2? X star 2, if you follow this, would be what? Your guess is as good as mine. X raised to power, 2. So you see, x star y is x raised to power y. X star 2 would be x raised to power of 2. So what this means is I can replace this part with x raised to power 2. So that gives me, bringing this part down, x raised to power 2 equals to 12 minus x. Now what is this looking like? this is looking like a quadratic equation. So we have moved from binary operation to quadratic equation. So this is a quadratic equation. Now how do I solve that? Very simple. I rearrange, bring this guy over here, this x over here. We have x plus x squared plus x, and then the 12 comes over here to be minus 12 equals to 0. So this is quadratic equation. So how do I solve this? I find two factors of 12 that would give me plus x. Remember, it is negative 12. What do you think? All the factors of 12. Now this is going to give you 1x. So we don't say 1x. Only primary school people say 1x. Now look at this. For the factors of 12, I have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Can you see this? Now, which arrangement can give you a 1? It's 3 and 4, obviously. It can be 2 and 6. So if I have plus 4 and minus 3, I'm going to have plus 1, x. So this is x squared plus 4x minus 3x minus 12 equals to 0. So I collect, I'm going to pair them. I'm pairing them. So this, I take this pair and this other pair. So x is common to both. This is called factorization. I'm trying to find the factor. So x here, I have x plus 4. What is common to both? 3. Because 3 is a factor of 12. So I have minus 3, x plus 4. I'm taking you back to quadratic equation. I'm sure you remember that. Now, so if I put this one outside in the bracket, I have x minus 3. And then we have taking one of these two, x plus 4 equals to 0. So what this means is x minus 3 is 0, or x plus 4 equals to 0. If x minus 3 is 0, it means x is 3, or x is negative 4. So can you see my answer? The correct answer, 3, negative 4. That is D. So option D is the correct answer. That is how simple it is. So just one or two more questions on the binary operation and then we move. So you can press pause at any point and press play to get what I have taught you so far. So let's go. The next question says, the operation star on the set of real numbers is defined by x star y equals to 3x plus 2y minus 1. Now it says we should find 3 star negative 1. I told you all you need to do or all you need to know on the binary operation is substitution. If you know how to do substitution, it's fine. Can you see we're trying to replace x with 3 and y with negative 1 in this equation. So 3 star negative 1 would be wherever you see x, you put 3. Wherever you see y, you put negative 1. So we have 3, open the bracket, 3 plus 2, open the bracket, minus 1 minus 1. So this gives me 9 minus 2 minus 1. Minus 2 minus 1 is minus 3. So that leaves me with 9 minus 3. And 9 minus 3 is 6. So the correct option is option C. The answer to the question is 6. Now, here's one for you to try. For want of time, I won't do them. Now, you have two questions, 2020 question number 43 and 2020 question number 44. So those two questions, when you try them, you get mastery of binary operations. Now, the next is coordinate geometry. We're drawing close to the end of this class. Coordinate geometry. Now, on the coordinate geometry, I'm going to teach you gradients, the gradient of a line, equation of a straight line, the midpoint of a line, and the distance between 2 points. Now, if I have a graph, can you see this? Now, we call this the Cartesian plane, if you remember that in your primary school, or what you call the x and y plane. This is the y-axis, and this is the x-axis. So you know that, of course, numbers to the right from this point on the x-axis are positive, while numbers to the, numbers up this y-axis from this origin are positive. So numbers to the left here are negative, and numbers down are negative as well. So we want to do gradients. So the question is, if you have 2 points, okay, now what is a straight line? Now you must have been taught that a straight line is simply defined as the shortest distance between 2 points. So we can find the gradient of a line. Now a gradient is sometimes called the slope. Those of you who do physics, when you plot graph, you're told to find the slope of the graph. The slope of the graph is simply the gradient of the line. So you have a line, you want to find the gradient. So what do? You mark 2 points on the line. Let's say you have, now there's something called coordinates. Coordinates are simply the x and y positions of a point. What does that mean? If I have a point P here, what position is this point P when viewed from the x axis? So we call that the x coordinate of the point. Now if I view this point P from the y axis, this point is the y coordinate, while this point is called the x coordinate. So this is the y coordinate, this is the x coordinate. Now I just go quickly to give you the formula to find gradient. So if you have 2 points, now every point is specified with coordinates, like we have this. So if I have point A with coordinate x1 and y1, and I have point B with coordinate x2 and y2. Please note that the formula for the gradient of the line AB, gradient of line AB, is simply gradient equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You may want to copy this, it's very important. So that's the gradient. This gives you the formula for the gradient. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now the next we want to talk about is the equation of a straight line. Equation of a straight line. Very simple. I'll show you the equation is on the board. The equation is giving us y equals to mx plus c. This is equation of a straight line. Equation of a straight line. In mathematics, a straight line has an equation. Y equals to mx plus c. What does m stand for? M stands for the gradient, which I just taught you a few seconds ago. And c stands for the intercept. Now, you may ask, Mr. McCollins, what is intercept? What does it mean? Now, if I have a line that is sloping this way, or another line that slopes this way, the intercept of this line A is simply the point where the line cuts or touches the y-axis. So this is the intercept of line A. And this is the intercept of line B. Look at this. The point where the line touches the y-axis is called the intercept. So this is the equation of a straight line. Y equals to mx plus c. Remember, the m stands for the gradient and c stands for the intercept. If I have 2 points, okay, 2 points, and let's say point A, remember our point A, the coordinates x1, y1, and point B with coordinates x2, y2. Of course, I can have a line AB. The question is, how do I find the midpoint of the line? Very simple. Please take note of the formula. For midpoint of a line, this is what we have. Midpoint is simply given as 1/2 y2 plus y1, x, I beg your pardon. Why? Because, now take note, I'm using x first because if you look at the coordinates, x comes before y. So the midpoint is a point. And remember I said every point has a coordinate. So x2 plus x1, half y2, y1. Look at that. So we'll solve questions and you understand. Just get somewhere, save all these things, then you have an understanding. Now let's take a pause at this point. We'll be back shortly. Thank you.